Penzance. It's history at Flemington. Michelle Payne. Prince of Penzance beat Max Dynamite.
This is the cup we got for winning the Melbourne Cup, the Breeders' Cup, Carolyn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gee, nice and heavy.
Yeah, this is a lot of gold in there.
It is indeed. I'll give that back to you. Richfield Stud in New Zealand's Waikato region has a proud history of producing Australasian Group 1 winners. And their fantastic stallion Penta not only is now the sire of a Melbourne Cup winner, but also of household names such as Excellent, Fantastic, Zarita, Mufasa and Rangi Rangdu. And John, it's brilliant to be back here with you celebrating having bred a Melbourne Cup winner.
Yeah, look, that really was a fantastic feat for the farm, Carolyn. I mean, it has become not just an Australasian race now, it's a iconic world race, and everybody wants to win it and everyone wants to breed the winner, and we all know that people have spent millions trying to get a Melbourne Cup winner, and of course, you know, for the farm to produce one and sell one and it go to Australia, and of course the great story of Michelle Payne riding it, and the whole, and Darren Weir really put him in the spotlight, so it really was a fantastic occasion when it happened.
Yeah, he still gets his carrot rewards, doesn't he? Well, he moves so well. I mean, I listed those names of those fabulous horses that he sired going back for so many years.
Yeah, look, I guess Penta was our foundation stallion. He was the first stallion we stood, so you know we really do have a soft spot for him, and I guess we can honestly say if it wasn't for his success, we probably wouldn't quite be where we are, and those horses that you listed earlier, well, a lot of them were produced here on the farm and sired by him, of course, and you know it's just every year he's had a good horse somewhere, and it's kept us in the spotlight for 15 to 20 years now.
And now, well, look at your young stallions. They're so exciting. Poisier, he's just a magnificent looking horse. Of course, he was very competitive with Dundeel, the second in the Spring Champion Stakes. The other group won the Randwick Guineas. But he's by Choisier, and he's just all speed, isn't he? He's just magnificent.
Yeah, well, look, he's an interesting horse, isn't he? I mean, you can say about this horse, everything's fallen into place before his progeny even hit the racetrack, because as you say, Choisier has just gone on every year. Like, I think we were speaking earlier, he had 3 Group 1 winners in a month earlier this season, one in America, one in Australia and one in England. And of course, so that's been a great boost too. And then earlier this season, Quasier's full brother, Divine Prophet, won the Caulfield Guineas. So, you know, to purchase him when he did, he's out of an Costa de Lager mare, so there's a lot of great blood in his bloodline, tracing back to Sunbride, she was the 8 carat of her time in New Zealand. So yeah, a lot of fantastic things with this horse, and he's such a magnificent individual. He's been very popular.
He looks a very kind, a really, beautiful temperament, and he beat a load of Group 1 winners. And I'm interested, of course, Choisier, we're looking at these Australian great sprinting sires, and you look at a horse like Pins by Snippets, who is another great Australian sprinting influence.
Exactly. Well, we're really hoping that Poisier can follow in the footsteps of those horses you just mentioned, and there's no reason he won't with his race record, his pedigree and his looks, and lovely correct horse. And I think it's testament. He was New Zealand's most popular first season sire last year. He served close to 150 mares, and the breeders who bred him have backed up this year, and he's close to 140 again this year. So he's had the support, and he's at a very exciting stage of his stud career.
And the first foal by Poisier, bred here at Richfield Stud, he's a real runner. He was absolutely charging around his mum.
Exactly. I mean, he's really stamped his progeny, and I think people will see it at the yearling sales next year. And the great thing is, a lot of the Australian trainers in particular remember him and what he did in a short space of time. He went from a maiden to running in the Cox Plate as a 3-year-old, which was a great achievement, and people remember that. And of course, the other strings to his bow as well.
Shocking drawing away. It's shocking to win the Melbourne Cup from Crime Scene.
Well, people certainly remember Shocking, another Melbourne Cup winner, of course, standing here now by Street Cry. Geez, really looking a lot more like his sire as he's let down and matured.
Yeah, well, I guess the key to Street Cry was his versatility, wasn't it? I mean, he could throw top 2-year-olds, champion 3-year-olds in America, champion 3-year-olds here, Winks, Cox Plate winners, Melbourne Cup winners, shocking. And it's early days for shocking in his stud career, but we're really wrapped with the way he's progressed this season. You know, he threw a New Zealand Oaks winner in his first crop, and he's got 3 or 4 horses that will come through in the autumn. You know, Chris Waller's horse, Antonio Giuseppe, just looks like he could be a real standout over the Spring Carnival, and so exciting times ahead of him. And he's also getting winners over all distances. It's interesting, he had a very fast horse in Hong Kong recently called Love Shot that ran one 1200 metre race and won 9, a tick over 1.9. So fantastic that he's, you know, showing elements of his size. You know, durability.
Yeah, well, he won, I mean, that Maccabi Diva Stakes, he was just devastating. So, you know, he's won those major races, not just the Melbourne Cup, but other fabulous weight for age races.
Exactly. I mean, when he won the Maccabi Diva Stakes, it was a Group 2 mile, but it's now a Group 1 mile, and it's one of the key lead-ups to the Spring Carnival. And the reason it is a Group 1 mile now is because horses like Shocking won it. So, you know, by Street Cry out of a Danehill mare and with the speed to win a Group 2 mile against the best in Melbourne, well, you know, he has got a lot going for him.
And he still kicks up his heels in the paddock, doesn't he? He really can run still.
Yeah, and he's had a busy season. He served, you know, close to 140 mares this year again, and very popular. And you know, he's got some lovely yearlings coming through. So yeah, he's, you know, we could run him on the smell of an oily rag, as I said earlier. He's a very good doing horse, you know. So.
Yeah, and I guess he's still so popular. There's something about a Melbourne Cup winner, isn't there?
Yeah, well, whenever people come to the farm and want to get their photo taken, they always want to get their photo taken with Shocking. I mean, I remember one day we had John Hawkes here and he wanted to get his photo taken with Shocking, so 2 famous people. You know?
Look at Jimmy Chu. He raced up on the outside. This is an outstanding win. Jimmy Chu beat Retrieve. Third home was Shamrocker.
And Jimmy Chu, well, I've always loved him being a son of Thorne Park. He was sensational in the Rose Hill Guineas, a great run in the Cox Plate. And I guess this is the time that his offspring should really be starting to shine.
Exactly, yeah. He's got a lot of really promising young horses. He made a great start to his stud career. He was New Zealand's champion first season sire. He had, you know, a group winner and a group place getter and a number of winners. And in Australia, I think he had 4 or 5 2-year-old winners in Australia. And no, he's ticking on really nicely, and we're really looking forward to his 4-year-olds in the Cox Plate and that sort of thing. So again, he's, you know, really showing a lot of promise and at a very exciting phase of his career.
So, John, what do you look for when you're selecting a stallion here at Rich Hill? And obviously in New Zealand, there've been the breed shapers, the Tristrams, the Beale, they're no longer with us. What do you think the industry needs to look for to find the next breed shaping sire?
Yeah, well, look, I guess the key things I've looked for in a stallion, and it traces back to Pinto, of course, is a turn of foot and soundness. And I mean, he was, as a 3-year-old, he didn't win below 2,000 metres, yet because of his turn of foot, he was able to get Telegraph and Railway winners and great milers like Rangi Rangdu. So we've tried to bring some of those factors through into our other stallion selections. Jimmy Shu, of course, you remember him just absolutely blowing them away in the Rosehill Guineas, and of course Shocking, as we said, in the Maccabi Diva Stakes. And you know, and for us it is a little bit difficult because we're working on a budget, and whatever we buy we have to make work, and I'm sure a lot of stud farms in Australia find it the same. But you know, we work within our resources and we try and get the best result we can within our resources, and I think so far, you know, it's worked really well for us.